Welcome to Vancouver. This is the Greenbriar Hotel, my home away from home for 8 days while attending the Neural Information Processing Systems Conference, also known as NeurIPS, formerly known as We Won't Talk About It. And I've managed to book this room relatively late. I was a little bit behind on my plans and needed some place that was available for 8 days. So I was able to find this. It's only about 10 blocks. It's about a 20-minute walk from the conference. And I paid less than $90 a night. So keep that in mind. It's a really pretty stellar place. I like it a lot. It's very clean. So when you first walk in, as you can see, this is the front door. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around here. And you can see a spacious coat closet as soon as you walk in. And in case, and for simplicity, they've also made the breakers for the whole apartment available. So if you want to make sure to turn off the juice when it's not in use, you just flip those 4 suckers all the way down on your way out the door. How convenient is that? There's a bedroom, which we'll go and take a look at in a little bit, a living room, and a kitchen, which you can't see from here, which was quite the surprise when I checked in, because I didn't realize it had a kitchen, and the bathroom, which is where we're going to start. So just to make sure that their guests don't get bored, they left a little activity for me right back over there. The little hose that connects to the tank of the toilet was just slightly drippy, causing the floor to stay permanently slightly damp, which in socks is quite the discovery to make. So I did complete that little activity this morning. The toilet no longer leaks, but I will say, all kidding aside, I'm certain the hotel staff would have had it taken care of promptly had I let them know. But that's no fun. So if you take a look in the rustic Vancouver tradition, this is a slightly distressed shower. Some of you may say this crosses the line from distressed to distressing, but it actually doesn't bother me that much. There's some strategically placed stress marks here with some scratches and missing paint. But overall, one of the more important things, there is no mold, and it was very clean when I came in. So that's very nice. A spacious counter, if you count this little peninsula over here where they put the tissue box, and a very neatly arranged little plate with actually quite quality shower products, which was very appreciated. Moving on into the living area, you'll notice this was probably one of the biggest surprises when I came here. This is incredibly spacious. It comes complete with a small size electric range, very reminiscent of my first apartment. And I do want to point out the painstakingly handcrafted reflector dishes in the range. It's a very nice touch. I've added to the flavor, if you will, of the apartment by stocking the kitchen with some local cuisine. All of the dishes and everything are not, the cabinets are all empty. All of the dishes are provided at the front desk. You have to ask for them, with the exception of a few things, including these, no dishes to use them with, and a couple of knives. The freezer, when I first checked in, the ice tray maker, or the ice tray, was upside down. As you can see, I have some fresh Canadian ice. And the kitchen, the refrigerator came stock with some suggestive sales for the low price of $2.50 Canadian, which is slightly more when you convert that to dollars, slightly less, when you convert that to dollars. Current exchange rate is about 0.75 Canadian dollars per $1 US dollar. And some cranberry juice that I bought last night. As you can see, the place settings are actually quite nice. Everyone is provided with a wine glass and a water glass, one of which I've already used to drink my glass of cranberry juice. The table is actually set correctly and very accurately, with the fork on the left, the knife, then the spoon, and the knife with the blade pointed in towards the plate. Somebody really knew what they were doing here. It's very nice. Typical hotel artwork, typical hotel TV. What's interesting is that couch is a pull-out couch. Now, if I had coordinated this trip a little bit better, I really think that me and up to possibly 4 other people could have shared this space. I don't know what that does to the room rate, but assuming I got along well with those 4 people, or at least well enough to live with them for 8 days, the rate of this room per person would have been closer to about $20 per person, which is crazy. Outlets. Hotels, got to talk about outlets. There's one at the base of this fixture, and that's about the only one in the entire apartment that's easy to get to. There's a few others in awkward places. I'm not exactly sure where you would put something that you would plug into that outlet. There's another one in the bedroom that we'll see in just a little bit that I plug my laptop into. But note and recall that this lamp does have an outlet in the base. This is something that I've always enjoyed seeing next to the bed. However, if we come in here, the base of this lamp has no such outlet. The only outlet that's close to the bed, if you're using your phone as an alarm clock, is behind that mattress. You can get to it, but unfortunately, in true hotel fashion, they don't put an outlet in a convenient place without filling it first. So, the light and the alarm clock both plug into that outlet, and there's no open outlet near the bed. Just a little bit of an A and B. This is why I don't work in hotels. This is how I made the bed. This is how they made the bed. The aforementioned outlet is right down here in the corner where I have my laptop. Obviously, a slight different distance from any surface that you would place something that you would charge on while you're charging it. Also, traveling can be very stressful. Just to take a moment to talk about the heat, travel can be very stressful. So Greenbriar has had the foresight to alleviate you of one stressful task, which is maintaining the temperature of your hotel room. There is no thermostat. They use central heat and hope the best for everybody, which I appreciate. And just to remove one of their degrees of freedom to make sure that they don't have an opportunity to possibly mess it up in the summertime, there's no air conditioning, which here in December doesn't really matter. The hotel room is quite warm, and so I have no complaints about how they maintain the temperature. A little bit on the warm side, but definitely workable. And of course, the windows do open in case I want to have a little bit more control over the temperature of the room. You can see that the Canadian birds are quite artistic in their exterior decoration, which I found quite welcoming when I first came in. And so I'm not totally convinced that all of this has been done by the birds, but as you can see down on the windowsill down there, there's a lovely landscape montage provided by the local shall we say, aerial painters. And that just about, oh no, how could I forget? The only hotel I have ever been in that has a walk-in closet, as defined by the fact that I walked into it just now. In all seriousness, this is a ridiculous amount of space, and if you were going to be staying here for a long time, I think this would be quite helpful. One thing you will notice is the conspicuous lack of laundry baths, which is a typical provision in other hotels that I've stayed in. But fortunately, in the process of stocking my kitchen, I was also sent home with this lovely laundry rag provided by London Drugs. And that just about wraps it up back here at the front door. So I hope you'd enjoyed this little tour of the Greenbriar Hotel. I'm looking forward to 7 more days of NeurIPS.